Hey, 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 Anne Claire.
Hi, Meg. How are you?
I'm doing so good. How are you today?
I'm all right, thank you. I'm really curious about what you're wearing.
Well, if you must know, I have a lovely new full and thriving sweatshirt on. Woo! It's part of the Recovery Collective merch line on Etsy. My Recovery Collective t-shirt will be viewed probably in a future episode. I did not have access to that this morning because I wore it like a few days ago. But I also have even more exciting for all the viewers here.
Ta-da-da-da!
The Meg and Anne Claire Show mug.
Aww.
And it's cute because when you purchase the mug online, you can pick if you want a yellow handle with yellow on the inside, or I think black. So you have some design choices, but it's very cute. We have our little retro design here. And then if you guys are super fans, or if you want to embarrass us, you can buy the mugs with our faces on it, which I did not get one of those, but a lot of my friends are just getting a kick out of getting a mug with my face on it and sending photos of them drinking from the mug.
Oh, I mean, it's kind of cute. Like, it's nice. Like, we'll take the support.
Exactly. One of my friends from high school, she sent me a photo yesterday and she was like, "You survived the dishwasher."
Thanks. I expect them to send you little pictures of like post-it notes where like speech bubbles with you saying things or something like that. Like my friends would totally do that. I expect that to happen at some point. But yeah, I love it.
It's so fun. So we wanted all of you to go check out the merch because it's a great way to support the show. And it makes our day when we see people like drinking from our mugs, wearing our sweatshirts, wearing the t-shirts. We even have journals. I don't know, all the things.
Stickers. We have stickers too now.
Do you know I bought, well, actually, no, I didn't buy it. Dan got me a brand new water bottle so that I can put my own stickers on something.
Aww, that's nice. I'm not going to lie. I was thinking computer as the host of the sticker. But it is true that we've heard from Recovery Collective members that they're using their water bottles to stick the stickers. So
yeah, it's so fun. And if you guys are a fan of the Meg and Anne Claire Show, or you're a member of the Recovery Collective, or if you listen to Full and Thriving, which is my podcast, we got merch up there for all the things. So go check it out. But yeah, I'm just going to be using this beautiful mug throughout the video today. And it makes me smile so much every time I use this. Just saying.
I'm going to have to catch up when we meet. And basically, you will be my Santa Claus in June when you will be delivering my merch.
Some of the shipping is tough in Europe, so I will be bringing you all the merch to your heart's content for the retreat. And I'm just so excited. So anybody, it's all on Etsy. So check out the Recovery Collective Etsy shop or use the link below.
Yay! And I guess we'll jump into the question.
That sounds like a good idea.
And back to dancing we are.
I just had like a whole cup of coffee.
Oh, yeah. Okay. You are forgiven. It is morning time for you. You're still full of energy. Fair enough. So, that being said, someone sent us a message asking, do I need a meal plan?
Woo! That is a big question.
Mm-hmm.
Recovery, right? I think my first response is it really depends on the person and the context, right? It's hard for me to like say exactly where to start, but I would say first check in with your dietitian and talk to them to see if you're a good fit for a meal plan. What would you say would be some signs that someone would be in need of a meal plan?
There are quite a few. And before I jump into that, the indicators, I guess, of someone maybe needing a meal plan, I will say one meal plan is not another meal plan, and a meal plan can mean various different things. That being said, talk to your dietitian and include in that conversation things like, how much do you actually know about your needs? Like, what is your knowledge of what an adequate meal looks like, of how regularly you're meant to be eating? explore how much your eating disorder and its voice and its power and its like confusion, because we know eating disorders are really good at confusing us, and how much that's getting in your way of eating. Talk about your hunger, fullness cues. Like, how much is that something that is available to you or not available to you at this point? Assess gently, but honestly, where you are in terms of food rules and fear foods, right? Foods that you're not allowing yourself to have, or the different rules, contexts, and, compensatory beliefs and, thoughts that you might have around food. And kind of like really be honest with your dietitian about what that looks like and what your current eating looks like, because those are all pieces of the puzzle in terms of knowing, one, do you need a meal plan? And two, what your meal plan is actually going to look like. So that's sort of where I would start.
Yeah, there was so much in there, but I do think a good place to check in is like, are you struggling with regularity and are you struggling with amounts? Like the Raves model, which we haven't talked about on the show very much, but our friend Talia Cicelli has a great podcast episode on Full and Thriving about this. But essentially the basis of like learning to eat again starts with regularity, which is eating, 5 to 6 times a day, like meals and snacks. And then adequacy, which is being able to build upon those eating experiences with proper amounts of food and balance. Mm-hmm. And so if you're struggling with that foundation, I think a meal plan is a great idea. And then what I like to say is a meal plan is also typically the minimum, right? And I think a lot of people with eating disorders see that as their maximum, right? They're like, oh, well, this is just a suggestion of like the most I should be eating right now. But it's really the minimum, and it's meant to be flexible as well. So it should not turn into this very precise calorie counting diet for you, right? Like I think meal plans have a really negative rep in some spaces, but I like to think of a meal plan. I use this a lot. It's a comparison. Like all the musicians out there might understand. Have you ever played an instrument, Anne Claire? Okay. Well, I played violin for like 13 years as a kid. I was a big orchestra dork. And when you first learn how to play your violin, you're given sheet music and you just play the basic notes, right? That's like how you learn. And that's what I think of your meal plan as. And as you get stronger and more confident as an eater, you start to add more of your own intuition and flavor and taste into that plan, which is like a musician learning to create their own musical style and tonality and musicality within that basic sheet music, right? It's not written on the sheet music, but you have that creative power. And I think that's what I like to see, the transformation of meal plans. Like that's how it should go.
I like that. I really like that image, because what a meal plan's helping us do is build, like I find that my clients are really building knowledge and rebuilding their connection to their body through meal plans. And it is normal that we all need to learn things in life, right? It's not bad. It doesn't mean that we're idiots or clueless. It's just we need to learn, especially when it comes to nutritional information, because unfortunately there's so much BS out there that we kind of need to upgrade the information that we have been basing our food decisions on. And so meal plans and working with a dietitian can really provide this updated knowledge that is, the new science that we're referring to, basically. And because what we typically observe in humans in eating disorder recovery, and that's something that was definitely true for myself too, is that we're very much disconnected from what is our actual intuition and our body signals, that we also cannot rely on those to make choices, because I didn't have proper body signals telling me I'm hungry, I'm full, like I'm satisfied. Like that wasn't really something I could, rely on to make choices. And even preferences needed to be challenged, because
Yeah.
The concept of a preference had been so skewed by my eating disorder behaviors that I really needed to be honest with myself and be like, well, is that a preference or not? And so I like that dietitians and meal plans are really able to sort of provide us with this new foundation in order to build what's next.
Yeah, I really do feel like there is a place for meal plans in the recovery space where some people are really against it. And I don't know if they've seen the spectrum of like total eating disorders, because I do think people have lost their intuition at a point, and a meal plan can be really helpful in reconnecting you with your body signals and your intuitive choices and providing us a little bit of safety and security, knowing that you are, if you're following this, you are eating a safe amount according to your dietitian. Because I know some folks who don't have that plan might just end up super restricting because their eating disorder is hijacking and taking over.
And the reality is, like I said at the start, a meal plan, like in my mind, that can look like so many different things. It can be super structured because that's what someone needs. It can be more so like guidelines that have embedded flexibility in it. It can even be different in the sense of, let's hypothetically say that I have two clients who are in the exact same spot in recovery and have the exact same next step, goals or needs or whatever. This does not happen. This isn't a hypothetical. So let's say that we work with the same team, the same dietitian, and we could actually have extremely similar goals and next best steps, and yet define the meal plan differently because one person is a different person than the other one, and they have different temperaments and different ways that resonate with them. So please know and hear that we're not ignoring your agency, your preferences, who you are, and what feels good for you. Because I know that specialized dietitians, and we work with so many brilliant ones, Talia being one of those, are able to be flexible and meet you where you are. And so, they will tell you what they honestly believe is helpful for you based on where you are. But that doesn't mean that we're sort of like steamrolling you in a way, acting like diet culture is, where some entity outside of you is telling you what you need and what you should do, right? What we're doing is coming in with extra knowledge, maybe new knowledge, new references to help you out, but we're not taking away from your agency and your ability to choose. And we're doing that so that you can internalize that again in the future and make those choices for yourself. And I do really want to make that part of the answer, because sometimes it can feel really scary, because it can feel like we're giving away our ability and our agency, and that feels icky. That can feel really icky. So it can sometimes feel really reassuring for some, by the way. It can feel really good. Sometimes you're like, please make the choice for me. But sometimes it can feel really icky. And that's something that your team can take into consideration.
Yeah, I think you made a really good point there, which is like a good meal plan meets you where you're at, and it's open to feedback and flexibility. It's kind of like an act of teamwork to put together something that works for you. So there are dietitians out there who will steamroll you, and we recommend that you find someone who's willing to meet you where you're at. I had the experience when I was younger of going to a dietitian, and like she wrote out this meal plan for me that just was completely impossible, and I never saw her again because I was like, I'm not doing that. Like that's a joke, like I can't do that. Are you kidding me? I haven't eaten these foods in like years. So why would I do that? So it's like, find the dietitian who's willing to listen, work with you, be flexible, meet you where you're at, take baby steps so you can reach that regularity and adequacy, and eventually build in the room for more intuition. And then essentially it's like learning how to ride a bike and then taking the training wheels off, right? The meal plan being the training wheels. Eventually you'll be able to transition more into that intuitive eating space. And if you're being told that you need to start with intuitive eating from square one, just know that there are some folks that might not be the right fit for, and it's completely okay to have the plan first.
Yeah. And like you said, like this is a stepping stone.
Yeah.
For something different later on. your team will let you know. Like, we don't keep people stuck with a meal plan when we think that they're very much able to start exploring how things feel when they eat and how hungry they are. And please have those conversations with your dietitian, right? That's so normal to have these conversations with them, but they will explain to you like, oh, at some point, like we're going to start weaving in, exploring hunger and fullness and how different meals, like nourish you in a different way. And you'll start adding variety after regularity and adequacy. And you'll start exploring with taste preferences and fun things and etc. So this isn't the end goal. This is the stepping stone. And it can really be liberating and so nice to have this structured way to get there. Like, this is meant to really be a supportive thing, not a cage.
Yeah. And one last piece of advice I have for everyone watching is do not make your meal plan something that's up for debate every moment you sit down to eat. Like, make it a non-negotiable part of your recovery, because the people who stay stuck are the ones who have a meal plan and then decide it's going to be a thing they can negotiate and compromise on and like have some power, like tweaking in a disordered way. I would just say, do your best to make it very non-negotiable, almost transactional at first, where you're trusting your team as best as you can. I have a client right now who's actually like been given a plan and is knocking it out of the park. And it's only been maybe like a week and a half of this happening. And to be honest, I've never seen someone attack it so cleanly, and it met her where she's at. She's already experiencing things like not obsessing over food so much, having more mental clarity, sleeping better. It's still really hard. And part of her doesn't feel like she's doing it necessarily for her every day, more for her team. But, as a coach, I'm thrilled to see this.
But you see, I love what you just said, because you're literally pointing out to how much goodness a plan can bring even very early on in recovery.
Yeah.
If your choice, and this is important, it has to meet you where you're at, right? The meal plan has to meet you where you are at, not where you think you should be.
Yes.
So not helpful. When it meets you where you're at and you're able to commit to that, suddenly you're really liberating your brain from this constant discussion of what is next. Do I agree? Do I not agree? You can really go for it. That doesn't mean that it's not hard. It just means that you're opening a door to like this kind of support in your choice making throughout the day. And yes, very typical. Clients might say, yeah, but it feels like I'm not really doing it for myself. That's fine. Like, we will re-internalize that as we go. So it's not bad or wrong if you feel that if you do have a meal plan that is structured in that way, it feels like you're doing it more for someone else. That doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It can be the case. We do re-internalize things as we go. So,
right.
And again, that might feel that way, but also do remind yourself that you still committed to it, right? It's not like someone just came in here and was like, here's the thing you have to do, like, right? Like, hopefully you've talked about this with your dietitian and your dietitian met you where you were. So this is still yours, but like, don't judge yourself if you have that feeling. Because I'm thinking of one client in particular who feels that every time they do this goal and they feel like they're doing it because it's a goal, then maybe suddenly it doesn't count. It's like, no, it still counts. So do not minimize your steps forward because they're part of a goal and it feels like you're doing it because it's on the goal sheet. So I'm just throwing that in there because boy, are eating disorders good at minimizing the progress.
Yep. Extremely relatable. So I could talk about meal plans all day. We need to do more meal plan episodes because, girl, we got a lot to say here. But anyway.
We do. But that being said, if someone has like a particular question on like, oh, this is really hard with a meal plan, or how do I understand this or that, please do reach out to us. Leave us a comment below and we will make sure to get back to this topic with your additional questions.
Woohoo! Don't forget to grab your merch below.
Oh, also, if someone could please send us a picture of them watching the show with the merch, extra bonus points.
Yes.
We will love you forever.
We'll share that one for all to see.
Thank you, Meg, for joining me today.
Thanks, Anne Claire. Talk to you soon. Bye.